Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. It's getting set for the Black Knights of Army this week, joined now by senior Casey Lawson. And, we asked Braden Law for the same question earlier. What is it about going to their pool that is so different? Obviously, you all get to swim in one of the best in the country across the street here at Lejeune Hall. But what is so different, and what do you have to do to prepare to swim at Army?
Well, their whole pool is a different perspective. They don't have as bright, I guess you would say. I never really noticed this, but it's kind of like a darker environment, just the way the pool was built whenever it was. And it's also just different blocks, different walls, different flags. I know they're the same distance, but every pool is different. You just got to get used to it. So we're just trying to prepare the best as we can these next couple of days for Saturday.
Do you have to block that kind of stuff out because it's different? Because I know you guys count strokes and things of that nature. How do you make the adjustment, or is it a real big adjustment to make?
For the most part, not really. I mean, we've all been doing this on both the men's and women's team for both sides, regardless if it's here or there. We've been swimming for a while, so we know our stroke counts. We know how we swim. Up until race day, just minor adjustments, but really not that much difference.
For you all as a team, and in swimming, you can do your individual best that day, but there is a possibility that someone else does their individual best, and you may not necessarily get the result that you deserve that day. How do you handle that aspect of the sport, knowing you could have done your best that day, but sometimes in terms of the overall grand scheme of things, it's not. Some days it doesn't win.
Well, especially going into this meet where, we all want to go in doing our best, of course, for not only ourselves but for the rest of our team. But, sometimes that just doesn't happen, regardless if it's from just a mental thing or for whatever reason. But, you get past it through the event, and you know that you have another one to swim, you have a relay, or you have to focus on the rest of the team and how they're doing. So, as much as it's a team sport, but individually you want to do your best, you have to keep that in mind and just move forward and support the rest of the team.
As a team, you all have gotten a decent amount of activity here in November leading up to this event. What are the keys to making sure you pace yourself to make sure you're at peak efficiency coming up this weekend?
Well, I think we did a great job with our last 3-day meet. The weekend before Thanksgiving, it was around the 16th to the 18th. We were down at Liberty University doing their 3-day meet, and that was a really good key point for all of us to see where we're at. We suited up. We didn't taper that much, but we still performed to the best that we could. We all did a great job, and we looked good. It looked promising for this coming Saturday.
Just like the men's side, the women's side, you guys have a tremendous culture here. Why did you decide to challenge yourself by coming to this particular culture, knowing what it is accomplished, and how have those challenges been over the 4 years for you trying to meet those standards?
For me personally, I fell in love with this place on my first visit here my junior year. We toured around campus talking to Coach Rob, Coach John about the school and what this institution is about of a whole, not just necessarily our program, is what really drawn me. And then getting to know the girls on the team at that time, and then throughout the years that I've been here, I've just fallen in love with it more, and it just really reaffirms that I made the correct decision to come here.
What are the challenges in the pool every day? Because in some respects, sometimes your biggest competitors are people who swim alongside you every day over here in practice.
Right. Well, I love that aspect also because, there's a saying that I grew up with, that the person in the lane next to you is your greatest enemy and your best friend. And on this team especially, just as you mentioned before, that couldn't be any more true. Like, we have some of the best girls in the Patriot League here on this team that I've been fortunate enough to train with, and we just push ourselves to get better.
How much have you changed from the time you arrived to where you are right now?
For just swimming or for all aspects?
For the whole aspect of the environment here and the time here.
I've learned a lot about myself, about my leadership, how I deal and work with other people, and how I overcome obstacles, just with everything that happens in the hall, everything that happens over the summer, and what the opportunities that the Academy provides for us as mids going through the years. I really just try to take as much advantage of it as I can to help me prepare for, a couple months after when I graduate.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What is coming up for you?
Navy pilot.
There you go.
So excited.
All right. We'll see her in airplanes coming up. Let me ask you this: When did this as a whole? We know your grades from the time back at St. Rose, you had academic honors there, but When did this whole thing start to matter for you as a student athlete back in high school? And obviously, you use that as a tremendous vehicle to get to one of the best institutions in the country.
So when did it like?
When did you feel it started to matter to you growing up swimming, and obviously, your tremendous grades that you have to get in here too?
Well, I attribute a lot to my parents, my mom and dad. They really pushed me to do my absolute best, even though sometimes maybe I wanted to take kind of like the easier way out.
Sure.
But growing up, they really strived to help me and my younger sister do the same thing, like do the best that you can, put your best foot forward, and it definitely has paid off.
I know in your background there have been NCAA B-cut times and things of that nature, but does anything beating Army in these dual meets for you and your teammates?
No. Honestly, it's a great feeling. I've been fortunate enough to have that feeling for the past 3 years, hoping to make it all 4 on Saturday. But we've been saying that throughout this whole week that this meet especially, with the rivalry and everything that goes into it, we're not swimming for ourselves. We're swimming for the past 29 years of wonderful ladies that have swam on this team. That have come before me, and we're doing it all for them. And some of them are here as a rep and faculty on the yard that I've seen that come back and just pop in and say hi at practice.
To that extent, is there pressure, or is it just a matter of going out and doing what you do? Are you able to separate the two, or is there pressure going into this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure. 29 years is a long time.
Sure.
But at the same time, we know that we're confident enough in our training and our ability and just our team aspect overall that we know that we can get the job done on Saturday.
All right. Appreciate the time. Best of luck this week against the Black Knights.
Thank you so much.
All right. Casey Lawson joining us here on the Navy Sports Magazine.